All right, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to solve this problem. Okay? The first way is probably the way based on what we've done in class, get rid of your fractions. So if I want to get rid of my fractions, I need to multiply by the LCD of every fraction involved in this problem. So I know I need a 1, an x squared, a 1. So we're just going to multiply everything by x squared. And if I do, I wind up with 4x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. And then I'm going to look to factor this. Okay, when I look to factor this here, I can either do completing the square, or I can look to rewrite the middle term. So if I take 4 times a negative 2 is negative 8. Are there 2 factors whose sum is equal to negative 8? No. Okay, so what you have to do in this case is we need to either use quadratic formula or completing the square. So I'm going to complete the square. I'm going to divide every term by the leading coefficient, so I get a coefficient of 1. So I get 1/4 x. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my 1/2 to the other side. So I add 1/2 to both sides. I get x squared minus 1/4 x, leave a space to complete the square. And I'm going to go ahead and complete the square. I take half of my b value, so half of negative 1/4. So if I multiply that by 1/2, I get negative 1/8. And I'm going to square that, so plus 1 squared over 8 squared. I'm going to add that to both sides. Okay, what that allows me to do is rewrite the left side as a binomial square, and x, and then the number I squared in here, which was half of my b value, so negative 1/8. And I'm going to combine these into the same denominator. So 1/2 is how many 64ths? 32. So if I add those together, and then I extract the square root, make sure that you account for the fact that it can equal the positive or negative of that. The square root of 33 over the square root of 64, which is 8. And then my final step is to add 1/8 to both sides. And I get my answer, 1 plus or minus root 33 all over 8. Okay, now, obviously this is a difficult question, right? Okay, but if you also save a problem like this, or if you see that it's going to be a difficult question, you can save it and use your calculator for it. So let's say I use that same solve feature on my calculator. Okay, so if I go through and I hit F2 Algebra tab, choose Solve, type the equation exactly as it appears. So 4 minus 1 divided by x minus 2 divided by x squared. Going to set that whole thing equal to 0, comma x tells the calculator I want it to solve for those. And when I hit enter, it confirms that I have 1 plus 33 over 8. Notice how it's written right here. You do have to distribute this negative. You get negative root 33, and a negative times a negative is a plus 1. So this is 1 minus root 33 over 8. So it winds up giving you the exact same thing, 1 plus or minus root 33 over 8.